What is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, if you don't know already, this is an Audi TTS. This is not my car, this is actually my dad's. So as I mentioned, this is my dad's Audi TTS, and in this video, very similar to the other video that I did on my channel, but that was on the Mark 1, my car, I'm actually going to be talking about 5 things I hate about this car. This video is going to be made up of some of the points that I've basically formed over the last few days of actually driving this car, but also they are going to be formed from my dad's view. So my dad's owned this car for like 10 years, and just over the past couple of days I've actually been driving it, just sort of like seeing what it's like, whether or not it's nice to drive, and sort of comparing it to a Mark 1. Now if you haven't watched the last video, you can actually go watch the last video. It is here or there, either way. Click in the top corner and you can actually go to the last video of my first impressions on this car. Enough of the talking. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you like these sort of videos. Press the bell icon as well, because you'll be notified every time we upload. And if this video gets 100 likes, I will release the next version of this, is 5 things I love about this car. Anyway, let's get the bad stuff out of the way first, and then we can look into the good stuff. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the first thing I really hate about this car. Now, as I mentioned before, please do not hate on me. I said this in the last video and I literally got death threats because I said like the radio isn't very good. But number 1 on the list is this pathetic, useless, poor excuse of a wing.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Like, I don't know what Audi was thinking when they made this. It is so ugly. Like, it is, and when I say ugly, I'm talking about like, it's just not enough. So obviously this car is the TTS, so it's a slightly sportier version than obviously just the normal TT, the S-Line version, yeah. So this is a TTS, as you can see, it is the quad exhaust. However, it's just met with this. Now on the TTRS, I'll actually put a picture on the screen, you can actually get a really nice version of the wing, which is like obviously a static one. This one comes up at like, I think it's like 80 miles an hour, which in England is pointless. You'll literally never see it. There is, however, a button just here, which you can actually press to get the wing to come up. However, if you put the wing up, as I've just found out, you have to go and drive the car to be able to press it down again. Another reason as to why I don't like this wing is because, I mean, it just gets dirty underneath. So underneath here as well, the trim. So if you guys own a TT, you will actually know that this trim here, the finish on it is absolutely rubbish. I mean, you can just, I don't know if you can see, but yeah, it's like starting to wear away. It just looks really naff, and obviously not a big fan. So that's definitely the first thing. Now, let's move on to the second thing. The second thing about this car, which I absolutely hate, is the front grille. I don't know what Audi was thinking again when they designed this, and it is absolutely horrific, and I don't like it whatsoever. If you don't know, Audi like to use the honeycomb effect on a lot of their grills. So for my grill, it's the honeycomb effect, which I absolutely love. The black, the gloss black that I've got on mine, I absolutely adore. But when it comes to the Mark II, like, I don't know what they were thinking with this. It's just, it's. If I was to get an Audi TT Mark II, I'd definitely replace this. Now, we obviously did an install on Matty's car, and it's the same with the S3. So the S3 has a very similar grill to this, and upgrading it to like the RS style that CT Carbon do.
Pardon me. Santa must have come early this year, because you were first on my Christmas list.
However, for now, obviously, yeah, it's just gross. Number 3 on this car, and we have to actually get in the vehicle for me to show you this. So, on this car, as you can see, there is a series of, well, 2.5 cup holders pretty much. So you've got a cup holder at the front, which seems to be a bit deeper than the one at the back, and you've got a cup holder here, and then you've got this weird, maybe Red Bull can in the middle. You have, I think, Oh no, it's just like a bit of a holder where Dad keeps his hat. I think you should wear this for the rest of the video. Guys.
Look at the top of his head.
So the cup holder situation in this car is very bizarre. If I want to sort of put my arm down here, like it's going to be on top of the bottle. Like if I had a coffee, for example, I've got a coffee in here and it sort of comes up to here, my arm is on the coffee. Or like, for example, if I've got one of these bottled ones that normally people will want to drive around because obviously it's sealed, if I want to sort of put my arm in this area here, like I'm having to like reach round, if that makes sense. I'm sort of, yeah, it just feels weird. It's like almost like designed as though this was made for the passenger rather than the actual driver. So yeah, not something I like about this car. Now, moving on to the fourth reason as to why I hate this car is to do with the gearing. So this has a very similar, if not the same gearbox as the RS. However, the RS has 7 gears, whereas this has 6. That when you do drive this and you're sitting on the motorway, it is crying out for that 7th gear. As I mentioned, this is only 6 gears, which means obviously it's going to sit at higher revs on the motorway, which in return will obviously burn more fuel. Now, if you are trying to save fuel in this car, if you're driving to like a car show and things like that, it'd be nice to save a little bit of fuel obviously on the way there. However, this car is not about miles per gallon, it's about miles per gallon. My dad wanted me to mention as a bad thing for this car is like the miles per gallon, and I just, yeah, you don't buy an Audi TTS for miles per gallon, guys. So yeah, I'm not putting that in, Dad, sorry. As I mentioned, my dad has owned this car for a long time. Now, one of the buttons that my dad has barely ever pressed in this car, and that's not just the sport button because he drives like a vagina, I'm actually talking about the MagRide button. So, this car is fitted with the MagRide option, which I do believe was a fairly expensive option when it actually came out of the factory. Now, my dad has always said, Josh, obviously I've never driven this car until the past sort of few days that I've actually been driving this car. So my dad has always said, Josh, the MagRide on this is horrific. It is so strong and so stiff, it will destroy anybody's back. And I just thought that was just an old man talking. However, that is not the case. So I can definitely agree with my dad on this one. So on this car, as mentioned, there is the MagRide button, which is just here. This car, when you press the MagRide button, which stiffens up the suspension, it's like driving on hockey pucks. It is so stiff, and it's to the point where, bear in mind, I've never had this happen in my car. I actually got backache in this car. You can literally feel when you're driving along, as soon as you press that, it was like the car deletes the suspension. So in my opinion, if you are looking to buy a Mark II, I don't know if it comes on the TTS or it is an option on the lower spec models, just don't even bother, because unless you're actually going to strip this car down and take it to the track like every weekend, there is no point in getting that option. It doesn't need to be that hard. It's to the point where it is giving you physical back pain. So boys, that's it. There are 5 things I hate about this car, mixed in with a couple of points that obviously my dad mentioned about this car with obviously 10 years of ownership. But if you do agree with any of the points that I mentioned in this video, please drop it down in the comments. If there's anything you disagree with what I said, drop it in the comments as well. I want to hear what you guys think. Obviously there is some of the people that are actually watching this that do own Mark IIs. Let me know, are we right? Are we wrong? As mentioned, this is not like a hate video towards the TT. I love TTs, whether it's a Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3. I have a Mark 1 at the minute, but after driving this car for so long, I do kind of want to get a bit of a project on a Mark 2. Thank you as well to my dad for letting me borrow this. Every time I've phoned him to try and like work something out, he always thinks I've crashed it. So it is Sunday, I've not crashed it yet, so I'm doing good. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I love doing videos like this. The Mark 1, if you haven't watched the Mark 1 video that I actually did about the 5 things I hate. I actually got death threats on that video, which is kind of mental. So if you have any death threats for me, drop it in the comments. I'm excited to read them. That is it, guys. I'm gonna actually now film the 5 reasons to why I love this car. If you haven't watched already and you're watching this later, go watch it. I think you'll be surprised actually some of the things I might say about this car. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Josh. This is the TTS. That's been 5 reasons why I hate this car. And that was my POV. Peace out, guys. That's later on. No.